Fallout New Vegas perfect playthrough. In this episode, we will be removing Mr. House as a threat to the NCR, but I figured we'd spice it up a little and sort of, how we say, put a little bit of the cut content in his killing quest, in the quest to kill Mr. House, to the forefront, and one of the locations is the H&H Tool Company. In the last episode, we picked up the Lucky 38 VIP keycard, and you'll find that there's another one in here. Oh shit. And another thing last episode that we saw was there was a Lucky 38 override option in the terminal next to the keycard. We also saw one of those Lucky 38 ow override options in the sewers, if you remember the sewer episode. And when we unlock this terminal, we'll find one more. And obviously none of this is required, though the Lucky 38 keycard does work to open the antechamber. But there you go. Lucky 38 executive override. So you could imagine it would have something to do with investigating all the companies affiliated with Mr. House pre-war. The lore of H&H Tools is that Mr. House's half-brother owned it. Sort of stole it as inheritance out from under Mr. House. But when Mr. House made his fortune, he bought the company back. That's the basic lore. He and his half-brother didn't seem to get along, and his half-brother's kind of crazy. But you can find out that lore for yourself. Reading the terminals on your own time, but yep, there it is. H&H Tools. The other place, we mentioned the sewers at Camp McCarran. I don't know why they're there. Why an override is there. Perhaps Mr. House needed it for some reason. And Camp Golf, the override is there because Mr. House owned the resort. And the final one is in New Vegas Steel. So we'll investigate New Vegas Steel a little. We have yet to investigate this place. So I figured it was as good a time to get it. There's the star bottle cap. If you're still collecting. And where the hell did that Mr. Steele go? And the interesting thing about this place is that you just straight up die if you go into the molten lava, which certainly makes sense. And those are some loud explosions. certainly makes sense, but you don't always expect it. And I guess the lore of New Vegas Steel is that it just kept running after the war, like many places. And we actually might be back here as those Mr. Steels count as Mr. Gutses. And they respawn. So we might be in there for the challenge episode later. But here you go, another Lucky 38 Executive Override. And the two found in a previous episodes. Well, I say two found in previous episodes, but I actually don't think we really saw the one in Camp Golf. And you know what? We'll have plenty of time. Why not head to Camp Golf? One last time. We can do a quick fast travel there. And I guess, I don't think I would have minded this additional little bit of quest to kill Mr. House. Like, Mr. House, you know, he locks down the Lucky 38. You have to find a bunch of different overrides, activate them, get the key cards. Seems like a pretty, doesn't seem like a particularly challenging quest. So I wonder why it became cut content. And it's in this room, isn't it? Yeah. Squad readiness reports terminals. I don't think it's in that one. But there it is, Lucky 38 Executive Override. So we clicked them all. I do remember clicking the one in the sewer. But yeah, there we go. We've clicked all the executive overrides. We've got the Lucky 38 special keys. So no time like the present to take down Mr. House. And I think the assumption is in the meantime you're running the Securitrons. And the only important thing is make sure you turn in all the snow globes from the base game, which we have. And also don't talk to Mr. House, because if you do enough quests with him, the NCR will get upset. And we're doing an NCR playthrough. We don't need Mr. House's dialogue. That's for the theoretical Mr. House episode in the future. You can try your hardest to complete all the quests and get the most XP, but it will advance automatically if you've completed quests before Mr. House assigns them. So be careful about that. And here's the terminal. And we don't need to pass any science check because we have the key card. And we got quite a few Securitrons to deal with, so we're just gonna pop in the we're gonna switch over to slugs. These guys are high DT. And maybe we shouldn't have popped that implant GRX because that was pretty easy. And now we'll have to wait for it to wear off. That's okay. See, there you go. Mr. House's antechamber. Not too hard to access. And now we'll edge walk over there. There you go. Implant gear axis worn off. And of course, we brought the golf driver. Here we go. We'll unseal the trigger. Mr. House, I'm putting you out of your misery. Next season of the Fallout TV show is taking place in Vegas. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see it.
Why have you done this? Centuries of preparation. So much good undone.
And, sorry, Mr. House, but it's just business.
If personal gain, what you sought, should have done as asked.
Time for you to die, Mr. House.
May there be a hell for you, a Tartarus, bleak, unending.
That was embarrassing. And you lose karma for killing Mr. House. And you know what? I'll make a special exception and read, "A tragedy has befallen all mankind." Robert Edwin House, 261 years old, President, CEO, and sole proprietor of the New Vegas Strip, industrialist and technologist, founder, president, and CEO of the multi-billion-dollar pre-war robotics and software corporation Robco Industries, has died. Generally recognized by Mr. House to be mankind's only hope of long-term survival, Mr. House's passing may well sound a death knell for the entire human race. Lost forever is his bounty of knowledge concerning human longevity, the depth and breadth of which, as he was apt to say, fill several textbooks. He was not exaggerating. Though he did not achieve his goal of functional immortality, let us not forget that he died at the age of 261. How many people do that? I mean, come on. Also lost forever are House's singular personality, force of will, vision, and leadership ability. The probability of an equally capable figure emerging from the current human population to lead mankind to a future of equivalent quality is less than 0.000112% by objective measures too complex to detail in this obituary. Personality and force of will. Born June 25, 2020, House was orphaned at an early age when his parents died in a freak accident. Autogyro, lightning. Though cheated of his inheritance, House attended the prestigious institute in Massachusetts and founded Robco Industries on his 22nd birthday. Within 5 years, it was one of the most profitable corporations on Earth. Vision. By 2065, House was certain that an atomic war would devastate the planet. At great personal expense, he developed technologies to ensure the structural integrity of the city of Las Vegas, as it was known at the time. On the day of the Great War, 77 atomic warheads targeted the city. Mr. House defeated them all. Talk about vision. Leadership. Mr. House survived the war, of course, and would later recruit the three families, negotiate the Treaty of New Vegas, and rebuild the Vegas Strip. While these achievements yielded many immediate benefits, they were all part of House's master plan to reignite mankind's quest for technological advancement, a plan without which the human race has nowhere to go and nowhere to turn. We'll revise and finish this up later. Have set the age at death to update automatically. Obit makes salient points, but pearls before swine, of course. Let's hope the ingrates never have cause to read it. Who knows how many of them are even literate. And there you go. The man wrote his own obituary. And updated it pretty frequently, too. And now the Securitrons are under my control, technically. Connection lost. And the individualized personalities are gone. And so is Mr. House. A tragedy truly has befallen mankind. And now we'll go back to Colonel Moore. See what she has to say. What's interesting is you kill Mr. House, and you feel bad about it. You feel sad about it. But he was planning to take over New Vegas and kill the NCR and destroy them, so I kind of get why they ordered it. Colonel Moore definitely had good reason to do so.
Report. Is Mr. House still a threat?
I killed Mr. House.
Then that's one more nuisance we won't have to worry about. Good work. Our efforts haven't gone unnoticed either. The brass have been throwing around the idea of having the president visit the dam for a while now, to rally the troops and boost morale and such. With our recent achievements, they finally feel secure enough to stage the damn thing. But while it's being planned, I have one last mission for you. Several years ago, we managed to wrest the Helios 1 solar power station from the Brotherhood of Steel chapter local to this area. It was a crushing victory, but no one's heard a peep from the Brotherhood since. Most people assume the Brotherhood is scattered and not a threat. Recently, we've had scouts go missing in an area west of Helios, and I'm concerned that the Brotherhood is involved. I want you to find them, and once you do, finish them for good. Any questions?
Is there no peaceful way to resolve this?
Don't even think about it. Any Brotherhood survivors likely harbor a deep grudge against us. We can't afford to leave such an enemy alive. Any other objections? Maybe you'd like to bring the Brotherhood some flowers.
How do you expect me to destroy an entire Brotherhood chapter?
A fair question, and one I've had our strategists think about for some time. Their consensus is that we must focus on the one thing we can count on. With the Brotherhood, that's their obsessive attachment to technology. They'd never go anywhere that didn't have working power. I'm willing to bet that wherever they're hiding, there's a working reactor powering their equipment. That's their vulnerability. Detonate that reactor, and we can safely cross the Brotherhood off our list of concerns. Is there anything else?
And I thought the Brotherhood were all wiped out at Helios 1. How could they have survived?
After the battle, we consolidated our hold on the plant before pursuing our enemies. It was a mistake, to be sure, but there wasn't really any place for them to go. When we finally gave chase, however, they had simply vanished. Some of our people think they had some means of conveyance, like the vertibirds the Enclave used, and hightailed it out of here. I think that they found some place to hide close to Helios, and never went that far at all. Any other questions?
Well, where should I start looking for them?
As I said, our scouts were some ways west of Helios when they disappeared.
All right, no more questions, ma'am.
Dismissed.
And I said that,
Has the
but
Brotherhood been found?
I was actually hoping to ask you some questions.
If you must, but please keep it brief.
I should be going. Tell me about the NCR.
I don't have time to discuss all the different aspects of the NCR with you, but if you want it all in a nutshell, the NCR is progress. If you wander around the wasteland, you'll find all sorts of tribes, villages, and such where people spend most of their time trying to survive. The NCR gives its citizens a shot at something more. We have laws, currency, healthcare, government, all the things that were lost. It's not perfect, but it's worth protecting, which is why we also have the largest military in existence.
How'd you get to be a colonel in the NCR?
I joined up at a young age. I was barely 16 when I left home and volunteered to be in the military. Got a few strange looks at first, but those stopped when I got top marks across the board during training and became an officer at 17. A few years went by, my squad helped take down gangs of raiders here and there, and one day an invitation to join the Rangers arrived. Those were the best years of my life. Doing something that truly matters, and having the freedom to handle it as you see fit. Then I got injured. Everyone was very supportive. I received a promotion to colonel and given greater responsibility, but my days as a ranger were over.
Sounds like you miss it.
I do, sometimes. There are days I'd give anything to be out in the open air, planting explosives and laying down covering fire. But here I am, stuck in the same stale office day after day, while other people get to do the actual fighting. But enough reminiscing. Do you have other questions?
What can you tell me about Hoover Dam?
It's a position of some strategic importance to the NCR, providing power and water as it does. It's moderately defensible, with a single point of entry on the east side. To get to the power plants below, the enemy has to cross the entire top. The Legions tried to cross the water on a few occasions, but slow-moving boats make easy targets for sharpshooters.
What do you know about Caesar's Legion?
They're organized, I'll give them that. The few times I've encountered them firsthand, I've been impressed with their discipline. I've heard they don't allow women in their military, considering them nothing more than breeding stock. Their men, however, are typically quite large, in phenomenal condition, and prefer close-quarter weapons. Recent engagements have taught us to fear their shock attacks, so it's a blessing that we seem to have superior firearms.
What impressed you about their discipline?
I've never once seen a single one of them back down or disobey an order. They'll happily charge a fortified position with little more than a sharpened stick if ordered to, and do so without hesitation.
You mentioned that they were in good shape?
Yes, extremely so. They must use conditioning routines on par with the Rangers or better. Their soldiers can run near half again as fast as my best men, and close distances with frightening speed. And they're as strong as they are fast. Their superior physicality makes them extremely dangerous up close, so I've had the men run drills for taking on larger, stronger opponents. But they've all been instructed to take them down at range if possible. I've made it clear I don't want any heroes in my squad, just survivors.
What kind of weapons do they use?
Their standard kit seems to be a blade of some sort and light armor. Guns are not uncommon, but are of questionable condition. While they prefer to use their blades, it's common for them to scavenge better weapons from their enemies and use those. The men have been told to toss their weapons over the side of the dam if they receive a fatal wound, but I doubt many will remember.
And are you in charge of the NCR around here?
I command the garrison here at the dam, yes, but Colonel Shu over at McCarran is technically in charge of the area's forces.
Interesting. That's why we were able to get away with going around Colonel Moore. Well, I should be going.
Good. I've got more work than time to do it.
I was asked, rank my top New Vegas babes. Colonel Moore. But yeah, lucky for Colonel Moore, we've actually already encountered the Brotherhood briefly. Did that whole collar on the neck deal. And Elder McNamara has been waiting for me a long time in that little command room. Hopefully he's not too upset. And we'll get started on the Brotherhood stuff this episode, and then we'll definitely have another episode dealing with it, and possibly 2 other episodes, as they tell you to go to a lot of vaults, and those take a while. Veronica's quest. So that takes a while. And lots of little tidbits to help with.
I heard some special squad of Rangers is on its way to the base here.
But yes, here we go. Let's talk to McNamara. Finally.
When you first showed up on our doorstep, I'll admit at first I didn't know what to think. After giving the matter some thought, however, I've decided that an outsider could be of great use to me right now. However, I will not force you to help us. Should you refuse, you will be allowed to leave here. Though no, we will be keeping an eye on you. What do you say, outsider? Are you willing to help us?
I'll help you.
Then allow me to explain our situation. This bunker is currently locked down, allowing no entry or exit, with you being one of the few exceptions. In exceptional cases, teams are sent out to investigate sites or retrieve materials deemed too important to ignore. 3 such teams have gone missing recently, and the news of their disappearance has not yet been widely spread to avoid undue concern. In order to maintain the peace and adhere to the strictures of the lockdown, I need to send someone else to discover what happened to them.
And surely you have people better suited to look for them than me.
The less who are aware of this situation, the better. My brothers and sisters were deeply traumatized by the losses we incurred several years ago. It would be imprudent to worry them unduly without first discovering the facts of the situation.
And I'll begin looking immediately.
I'm glad I can count on you. Oh, and one other thing. The patrols each had a holotape detailing their missions that you can use to track them. The shielding of the bunker prevents us from actively tracking them, but their positions should show up on your map once you get to the surface. Should our worst fears become realized, please bring back all 3 of the holotapes from the patrols. Otherwise, bring our brothers home. I've given the order that you be given access to some of the equipment our scouts and patrols have scavenged over the years. You won't be allowed to purchase any prohibited equipment, but hopefully some of what's available will prove useful to you.
Gotcha. And let's see if he has any further dialogue.
Found the missing patrols?
I was hoping to speak to you about other matters.
I can spare a little time. What did you want to talk about?
Tell me about the lockdown.
It's a protective measure that was enacted after our defeat at Helios. The NCR was hot on our heels, and we wouldn't have survived another encounter. It was decided that we would stay quiet for a time, heal the wounded, and try to come up with a new strategy. However, after we had fully recuperated, our first scouting measures showed that the NCR's presence in this region had only increased in our absence. There are now more than 5 times the number of NCR troops in the area as when we fought them, and we have half the number we did at Helios. And so the lockdown has been extended. To go outside would be the death of us all.
How do you get supplies?
We have some personnel that are allowed to travel on the surface. They trade for what we need and occasionally drop off what they acquire. We make sure that they only enter or leave the bunker while the sandstorm is active, to avoid detection.
And what is with that crazy sandstorm on the surface?
That is this base's defensive system. It serves as camouflage and masks all entry and exit from the bunker. We use it to hide our patrols and supply runners, though we still send such out at night to be extra safe.
And we're not going to tell him about the NCR yet, quite yet. And you go over here, and it's just all the rooms. You can steal this super sledge full condition if you want, and some power armor full condition, which we might steal later. But I don't know about either of those options. And you can see they're all kitted out with Gauss rifles, pretty cool. Gauss rifles, my bad.
So, you're the outsider that's been given leave to wander around freely. Desperate times call for desperate measures, I guess. Name's Hardin. I'm the head paladin of this chapter, and I think we might be able to help each other out. I don't know what the Elder talked to you about, but I can tell you this chapter is in trouble. And he's at the center of it. Are you willing to listen to what I have to say?
And the obvious choice is McNamara, as he's the only one who will ally with the NCR. But the obvious choice is McNamara also because Hardin has just an awful comb-over. Why should I trust you?
Why should you trust the Elder? I'd recommend listening to both of us, and choosing whom to trust for yourself. So are you willing to listen?
Alright, that's a good point. Go ahead.
As you may have already heard, this entire base is under a state of lockdown. No one goes out except small patrols at night. Most of the chapter has been sealed in here for years. And those few who were outside when the lockdown was initiated are forbidden from returning. Morale has plummeted as time has gone by, and many of our current paladins haven't seen combat outside of training simulations. And all because of the Elder's explicit order that no one be allowed in or out. The only way things will change is if a new Elder is installed.
And, have you tried bringing this up with the Elder yourself?
Of course I have, many times in fact. The Elder has an open-door policy and will listen to advice on any subject save this one. He refuses to see that our isolation is slowly weakening us. Aside from being our duty, going out on missions is what kept us strong. And because he fails to see that, he must be replaced.
And I suppose you'd nominate yourself.
I would. I'm the senior-most paladin in the chapter, and have more combat experience than any two others here put together. I'd gladly support another candidate, but no one has the courage to step forward and make the attempt, so it falls to me. I would put this chapter back on the right path, if I could just assume leadership.
And how do you propose to do that?
I don't know. I've gone through our records dozens of times looking for a precedent regarding the dismissal of an Elder and come up with nothing. The people who are most likely to know how it could be done are also some of McNamara's strongest supporters, so they refuse to help me, which is why we're having this conversation. An outsider such as yourself would arouse less suspicion asking questions about such matters. The fact that the Elder has some tasks for you means his faithful won't suspect you, and you have a line open to the man himself. In short, you're in a perfect position to help me. Will you at least think about it?
And what do I get out of helping you?
If I become Elder, the lockdown will be lifted, and we'll once again be able to send patrols out into the wastes. We'll become powerful again. And when that happens, it will be good to have the Brotherhood as an ally. Good enough?
I'll see what I can do.
That'll have to do. I'd recommend going to see Ramos first. As head of security, he's more familiar with our protocols than anyone else here. You could also try to find something relevant in our data store, though last I heard Scribe Ibsen is having a bit of a problem accessing it. And if McNamara should give you any tasks, I'd ask that you kept me abreast of them. Report anything you find to me, and we'll move from there.
And so there's Hardin. And so let's start talking to
Looks
people.
like Mr. House is out of the
The
picture.
first of which will be Scribe Ibsen.
Look, this isn't a great time. Oh, what the hell. It's not like we're making any progress. I'm Ibsen, and I hope your day is going better than mine is.
Well, my day is not going better than yours, because I'm about to have to do this stupid quest that I don't really fully understand. Is something wrong?
Yeah, I'm in charge of keeping this data system up and running, but accessing it is a little, touch and go at the moment.
Why is that?
One of our exploratory patrols, back when we had exploratory patrols, found a data disk in some ruins out in the waste. Well, we finally got around to cataloging the damn thing and got shut out of our own data store the second it loaded. Turns out it had a virus on it.
A virus? Why aren't there patrols anymore?
Oh, there are patrols, just not exploratory ones. We've been in a state of lockdown for, well, let's just say it's been a while. The only time anyone gets to go topside is guard duty, or to gather provisions. Other than that, it's steel walls and fluorescent lights for us.
And why the lockdown?
That's not really for me to say. It's a bit of a touchy subject. You should probably forget I mentioned it.
Let's go back to the virus.
Yeah, some pre-war jackass with too much time on his hands apparently decided to inflict his misery on those around him. It's scrambling all the terminals here at the moment. Luckily, we only use this section for storing historical data.
Anything I could do to help?
I suppose it couldn't hurt to get another pair of eyes on this. Maybe you'll be able to come up with something coming at it fresh. While the entire system is infected, the virus itself is spread across 3 terminals. The problem is that it keeps moving periodically. We'll have it nailed down in a terminal or two, only to have it jump to another set of terminals before we locate the third.
And can the virus's files be partitioned so read access is only provided by the kernel administrator?
No, that's brilliant. It would let us seal a portion of the virus to a particular terminal, even when the other parts move.
So what do I need to do?
You'll need to locate it on 3 different terminals in this area in 1 minute. Any longer and it'll jump, and you'll have to start all over. Locating the virus would probably be nearly impossible, but the pompous little bastard that wrote it made things a little easier for us. Normally, terminals infected by the virus just display gibberish, but we found that terminals the virus moved to had some real data passed to them. We were able to decrypt the data and discovered that it was just messages from the virus's writer taunting his victims. When you find terminals with those messages, lock them down and move on. Find 3 of them before the virus jumps, and we'll wipe the damn thing.
I mean, I understand what you're supposed to do. I just don't know of any tricks to doing it other than bashing your head against the wall. I'll give it a try then.
Best of luck to you. I'll tell the others to take a break so they don't get in your way. Oh, and I'll keep track of when it jumps for you. To maximize your chances, wait for my signal before you begin.
To deal with.
Seems the NCR is making friends. We've had reports of them making overtures to some...
Hey, I'm trying to do something. Stop having dialogue.
Our instruments show some impressive power fluctuations coming from across the river. What's going on over there?
The virus just jumped. Find which terminals it went to.
And I think you just go check all the terminals. And when they're gibberish, you move on. And you need to access 3, and you theoretically need to access 3 in 1 minute. But if you pass the science check, you only need to access. It saves your progress. Is basically what the science check does. As you can see, we're off to an unlucky start. Oh, there we go. We got 1. I think that's it.
Damn, it's jumped.
There's 2.
I thought we might have had it that time.
And, oh, is he
The
just,
reports
he's
say
giving up again?
Did you want to try isolating?
Yeah.
All right.
Alright, so we got 2 out of 3 that time. And I think it jumped again, so... And because we passed the science check, it saves our progress.
The virus just jumped. Find which terminal.
And, yeah, this quest sucks. You need to do it if you, want Hardin to take over. You don't need to do it if you, only care about McNamara, but you also need to do it if you're doing a perfect playthrough. Well, let's see, we already got that one. Oh, we fucking already got that one too. I think it's this one. I think it has to be this one. There we go.
That's it. We got it. The virus has been purged.
I guess it's not too
You
bad.
actually did it. If you don't mind my saying so, I didn't think you had a chance in hell of pulling it off. But I'm glad to be wrong for once.
Dick.
Thank you, my friend. Please feel free to access the data store at your leisure. I'm only allowed to give you access to non-classified topics, but it's better than nothing, right?
And now that the data store is fixed, what do you think of Hardin trying to get McNamara dismissed?
I can understand how the man might be frustrated by the current situation. He's a take-charge sort of fellow. Standing around's not his strong suit. I myself often wish we could end this interminable stasis and begin moving forward again.
And what kind of information is in the data store?
Oh, all kinds of things. There was already information regarding the layout and systems of this bunker, but we've since added our own data as well. Prior to the lockdown, we had extensively scouted the surrounding area and compiled dossiers on nearby points of interest.
And how do I get access to more topics in the data store?
Well, you'd have to get a senior-level member of the chapter to unlock a topic for you. I've given you access to what I can, but that's not much. The majority of topics fall under Ramos's aegis, since they'd constitute a security risk. Good luck getting anything out of him. You might have better luck with another member of the senior staff. Try talking to them about it.
Interesting. I will talk to the other members of the senior staff. And so far all we got is bunker information. And it just tells you all about this Hidden Valley bunker. Over here you got a fun little fixin' room with the knights.
Oh, you must be the outsider everyone's buzzing about. Pleased to meet you. I'm Lorenzo, senior knight and general handyman around here.
And we'll talk to him later.
Looks like Mr. House is out of the picture.
There's actually some knights that we need to talk to, but I think we'll get direction to do so. Oh, they got the cool science thing here. The cool science thing from like kindergarten. If you're looking to self-destruct, it's right here. And surprisingly easy considering it's just a check. And there's head scribe Taggart. And let's see what he has to say.
Yes, what is it?
And you are?
Ah, the outsider. I suppose it's too much to ask that jarhead Ramos to keep outsiders away from my research. I am head scribe Taggart, and I am much too busy to deal with the likes of you right now.
Fair enough. I guess he doesn't really want to talk to me. And Apprentice Watkins. What's with all the computers?
It's our virtual reality training hall. We don't really go out all that often anymore, so this is how we stay sharp.
You said any more before. Did the Brotherhood used to go out more?
Yeah, a lot more. Back when we were at the Helios station. Oh, crap. I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to talk about that, especially with outsiders. So forget you just heard that, okay?
Shouldn't you be in school or something?
Head scribe Taggart quickly realized my extraordinary talent when I took the mandatory VR combat testing. Soon after that, he requested that I get transferred to VR specialist training, serving as his assistant. I miss hanging out with the other students all the time, but at least I get to skip all those boring lectures.
And tell me about yourself.
Well, like just about everyone else here, I grew up in the Brotherhood. My father was a scribe and my mother a paladin.
Are your parents here somewhere?
They both died at Helios 1. The others were always like a family to me before that, but afterward they became my family in truth.
And so who do you take after more, your mother or your father?
I don't know. I'm a little like both of them, I guess. If I had to choose, I really don't know which I'd pick. That's a question I've been asked a lot lately, since it's something I have to decide for myself soon.
What do you mean decide for yourself?
I'm currently an apprentice in the Brotherhood, and recently became eligible for journeyman status. But first I have to decide which order I want to join, the Knights or the Scribes.
Tell me about the Knights.
Knights are in charge of all of our equipment. Power armor, Gatling lasers, you name it. All of it built and maintained by Knights. Knights also get to go out on patrols, scouting assignments, and support the Paladins in offensive operations. Being a Knight would mean getting to see more of the world, fight the Brotherhood's enemies, and possibly someday become a Paladin like my mother.
And tell me about the Scribes.
The Scribes are responsible for discovering how all the old tech we recover actually works, and sometimes even work on inventing new things. Without them, the Brotherhood could never fulfill its mission. Or at least that's what my dad always used to say.
Alright, time for me to go. And yeah, it seems like Head Scribe
Yes,
Taggart
what is it?
trying to groom this young lady. Really weird. Weird inclusion. What an asshole. But Ibsen mentioned we can go to the whole senior staff, so let's start with the elder. We do have his ear.
Found the missing patrols? So
And nope. McNamara can't give you any access, but I'm sure Hardin could. And I think Hardin would be incentivized to do so.
What is it, outsider? Have you discovered anything?
The Elder has been looking for the lost patrols and retrieving their mission discs.
Yes. I know the loss of the patrols has weighed heavily on his mind for some time. He took it very personally when they first went missing. That was when I first began to seriously question his ability to lead us. A commander has to be able to deal with the potential loss of his men. It's strange that he would ask you to find mission discs on them, however. The missing paladins were all on standard patrols, which don't need them. Only brothers sent on special assignments are given mission discs. If you should find any on the lost patrols, let me know.
And what do you think of the lockdown?
It's a travesty is what it is. Every second we sit on our hands down here is another second that we're not fulfilling our sworn duty.
Why do you dislike McNamara so much?
It's not that I dislike the Elder, but I strongly disapprove of his current style of leadership. We're safe, yes, but at what cost?
And what would you do if you became Elder?
After lifting the lockdown, the first thing I'd do is send scouts out to recon the area. We need to know what's going on out there. Next, I'd resume patrols in the near vicinity, and begin sending search teams out to the spots the scouts reported were relatively safe. It's standard procedure when a chapter relocates to an area, but standard procedure wasn't our last Elder's style, either.
Ooh, tell me about your last Elder.
Elijah was a strange one. His even becoming Elder was highly questionable, seeing as how he was a scribe. Typically, only paladins are eligible. But an exception was made in his case on account of him being a genius. Unfortunately, whatever scientific acumen he had didn't extend to tactics. Trying to defend Helios was a blunder of the worst kind, and many brothers lost their lives because of it. Many of the senior paladins, myself included, advised him to fight a retreating action, but he refused to budge. Said he almost had it working. We never did find out exactly what he was talking about. When the perimeter was finally overrun, the Elder had simply vanished.
Tell me about the battle at Helios.
Helios was the worst goddamn action I've seen in a long, long career of fighting.
Alright, I need to get going.
Bye.
Alright, so it turns out that Ramos is the only senior staff that can give you access. And look, they got a nice little map here. Interesting what they've decided to mark. And I'm just looking around. And we won't be going down Hardin's path, so I'll just let you know it's all about breaking protocol that McNamara did. He broke the tie that binds. And we discover that after getting the Lost Patrol's discs, so we won't be talking to Hardin anymore, as that will set us in motion down that path.
The word came down from the Elder that I'm to offer you some of our lesser wares. As if I didn't have other matters on my mind.
And let's
our
see what the
patrols
lesser
are always
wares
bringing
are.
more stuff in. Take a look.
I mean, explosive bullets are pretty good. And Mark II combat armor reinforced. And the GRA stuff. You know what? That's not bad stuff at all. Anything I can help you with?
If you must know, my inventory check this week shows that our weapon count is one short. Somehow we're missing a laser pistol. Hardin will have my head if I don't find that weapon soon. I can't delay my report to him any longer.
That didn't really seem like that big a deal, but I could look around for that pistol.
If you happen to find it, bring it here right away. I might be able to throw a few supplies your way if you do.
And this is a fun little quest.
The reports say Mr. House's robots are now using...
And let's see what the doc has to say. Apart from having a Nikola Tesla in you. That we're gonna grab.
Hello, you must be the outsider everyone's talking about. I'm Linda Schuller. If you ever need medical attention, this is the place to come.
And so you're a doctor?
Yes, I handle all medical needs in the bunker. If you're ever wounded, I can treat you. For a fee. Normally I'd just be the base's medical officer. But my other duties say otherwise.
What services can you perform?
We have equipment here to treat most physical injuries. Lacerations, broken bones, that sort of thing. We also carry a full supply of antitoxins. You may have noticed the bark scorpions up above. Though tiny, their venom packs quite a punch. Treating scorpion stings is my most common procedure. I can also treat any form of radiation sickness you pick up out in the waste. No matter what stage. Save the last.
And you mentioned other duties you had?
I'm this bunker's head scribe in everything but name. I supervise the research teams. I collate the reports. I attend the meetings. But for reasons beyond me, that buffoon Taggart still gets the title. And don't get me started on that little pet of his. Everyone around here knows what's going on there but her.
Yeah, that bothered me too. Why not tell on him?
Oh, I tried. The Elder listened patiently to my carefully constructed argument regarding why the buffoon should lose his position. Then he just as patiently explained to me that Taggart's work was vital to our cause, and that he wasn't to be trifled with lesser matters. But vital to our cause? Hardly.
And let's see, I guess we can't go back to that, but that's too bad. I would like
Seems
to
the
see that guy get his comeuppance. And so let's start investigating this missing laser pistol. And what I think we should do is start talking to all the named characters we can find. As is the case with a lot of quests, though finding them will be a little difficult. But, oh, there we go. Initiate Stanton.
Yes, can I help you?
I'm trying to find Torres a missing laser pistol. I'm trying to help Torres find a missing laser pistol. Have you seen it around?
No, no idea. Sorry.
Oh, really? Okay, I guess he doesn't know. Well, the other named character we've seen around is Apprentice Watkins, so let's ask her.
Yeah?
Huh. I thought for sure that Torres would Stanton would say it. Now I'm flustered. Well, I tell you this, I could say I already I wanted to mention this, but I finally finished watching the Fallout TV show. Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh, we need to, I see what we did wrong. I don't know why this is part of it. But it's actually interesting that it's part of it. Maybe this is why some people are unable to finish this quest, perhaps? Though I don't think anyone really cares about this quest in particular. Is you gotta talk to this guy.
Welcome to the range. Feel free to use any open lane.
Brotherhood of Steel Paladin with no name. I'm allowed to use the range?
Sure. The Elder's already given the okay. Unfortunately, you'll have to use your own weapons and ammo.
And do you know anything about a weapon that's gone missing? There you go.
Torres must be getting desperate if she's accepting help on this one. I'll tell you what I told her.
My records show that Initiate Stanton was the last to check it out, but checked it back in a day later.
Alright, I'll talk to him. Now.
Hello?
As opposed to before. See, my memory is sometimes too good. That's what I'm going to say.
Yes, can I help you?
You were the last one to check out the missing laser pistol, right?
Oh, man. I told Watkins this wasn't going to work. Look, Watkins and I snuck out one day. She said it'd be a training exercise. Said she heard from a guy on one of the patrols that there was a gulch just southeast of here with scorpions in it, and that we had to check it out. There were scorpions out there, all right. We started using them for target practice. But before we knew it, the damn things were all around us. So we made a run for it, and in all the commotion, I dropped my pistol. Watkins keeps urging me to go back and get it, but that's not going to happen. You can go outside, though, can't you? You can return the pistol to Torres and clear this whole thing up for me.
And why did the record show that the gun was turned back in?
Oh, I sort of altered the records after we got back. That was Watkins' idea, too. That girl is nothing but trouble. Still, I haven't been exiled yet, or worse, assigned to latrine cleaning duty. But I will if you don't help me find that gun.
And can I just get you another laser pistol?
No. Weapon checking protocol includes verifying the serial number of the weapon, so a different gun would be noticed. Plus, having a new gun suddenly show up would immediately point to you, being the only outsider around here and all. No, the only way I have out of this is if you help me find that gun. You'll help me, right?
Sure, I'll find the gun for you.
Great. When you find it, just turn it into Torres and I'll be in the clear.
Hello?
And let's see what Watkins has to say. And you'll recall 5 seconds ago when I had said the key was finding a named character to talk to. And the actual way to solve it was to talk to the unnamed Brotherhood of Steel Paladin. So, looks like I'm the fool.
Yeah?
And Initiate Stanton told me about your little adventure the other day.
That was so much fun. The wind whipping through our hair, not knowing what was gonna jump out at us at any moment. And when those scorpions came out, it was just like The Sims. All I had to do was line them up and then squeeze the trigger. I doubt I'll be able to get Stanton to go with me again, though. I thought he'd enjoy it as much as I did, but he was just scared the whole time. Don't tell him I told you this, but when those scorpions surrounded us, I'd bet a week's rations he pissed himself.
Hopefully Apprentice Watkins chooses to be a knight.
But
I'll have to investigate further to see if you can have any influence over that decision. But yeah, my goal this episode is to get all the big talk in the Brotherhood bunker dealt with. The last of which will be with Ramos. The next episode will be out questing. So where is Ramos? Oh, there he is. Almost missed him.
Your presence here, let's just say it's highly irregular. Outsiders aren't even allowed to know that our bunker's here, let alone come and go freely. You impressed Elder McNamara, obviously. He must believe that you'd be very useful.
So you're head of security, huh?
That's right. Nothing gets in or out of here without me knowing it.
So why did I have to deal with that Ranger topside?
Normally, that would have fallen under my jurisdiction, but the Elder thought it'd provide a good test for you, so I backed off.
What exactly are the rules regarding entering and leaving?
Under the lockdown, only essential personnel are permitted to enter or leave. That includes supply runners and high-security patrols. All other personnel are forbidden to leave, and any personnel that were out there when the lockdown was enacted are forbidden from returning.
And, what would an Elder have to do to get kicked out?
So you've been talking to Harden, eh? He's been looking for a way to usurp McNamara ever since the lockdown started. Don't get me wrong, he's a good man. But Elder McNamara has done all right by us. If it weren't for him, none of us would have survived at Helios. I'll tell you what I told Harden. There have been only a few cases of elders being dismissed from their posts in the Brotherhood's history. And those involve crimes that someone like Elder McNamara is just not capable of. You can look it up for yourself if you want. I'll grant you access to that portion of the history section of our data store. See Senior Scribe Ibsen about accessing it.
And can you tell me what happened at Helios?
I'm sure someone's told you all this before. Several years back, we were running our chapter out the Helios 1 solar power station. Our elder at the time, Elijah, had some kind of obsession with the place, which is the only reason we stayed as long as we did. That place was hardly defensible, and we knew the NCR was moving in on us, but the elder refused to budge, insisting that he just needed more time. We never found out what he needed time for. Wave upon wave of NCR troopers hit us from all directions. We held out for a time, but we were grossly outnumbered, and they had more men than we had ammo. Eventually, our positions collapsed. Elder Elijah was nowhere to be found, so McNamara took charge and led what remained of us on a counteroffensive west. We lost a lot of men and women, but we broke through and made it here. Make no mistake, McNamara saved this chapter that day.
And who is Elijah?
Who was Elijah, more like? He was our elder before McNamara. Bright guy, but just between you and me, he was a little off. Our mission is to recover and preserve the technology of the past, but Elijah wanted more. He sought ways to improve upon technology, make it better. When we found Helios 1, he was like a kid in a candy store. Kept talking about the potential and a grand design never realized. He even insisted we set up our base there, against the objection of nearly every paladin. What followed is a whole other story.
I think one of the best things that New Vegas does is have the central characters of its DLCs, Joshua Graham and Elijah, Father Elijah, so well foreshadowed in the base game. But there you go. We killed Mr. House, and we talked to everyone in the bunker and listened to all that sweet, sweet dialogue. And next episode, we'll be getting out there. We'll be getting out there, finding these patrols, finding these missing laser pistols, and doing tons of cool stuff. And we're going to be with the Brotherhood for a few episodes. And so I hope you'll enjoy this next little segment. And then it'll be off to Dead Money. So we'll be doing a lot of Brotherhood-centric stuff. So all you Brotherhood fans will be eating good. Looking forward to that next episode, and I'll see you all there.